All right, so we are back, and now that Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley's over, I had focused a lot of energy into that card, and a lot of things that happened outside of it that I didn't really get to cover, or some things I wanted to cover that I might be a little late to the party on, but I wouldn't call this video a party that I'm late to. In fact, there's not really much to celebrate. I mean, yeah, there's a little win that we're going to talk about at the end, but I would call today's video a proper burial, because we are talking about Social Crooks and Austin McScam. He tried to hit Live by Live with a lawsuit. Live by Live then filed a counter lawsuit for $100 million against Austin McBroom. And now we have Bryce Fall and Taylor Folder coming out, and they're filing lawsuits against Austin. The whole card is f***ed up. No one's gotten paid except one guy, maybe two. I'm talking about the big fucking Gibber and Deji. And I've always speculated as to why Gib and Deji got paid. I had heard some things behind the scenes, but today I'm gonna give you full factual evidence from Gib and Deji's actual manager and some behind the scenes stuff that's gonna make sense as to why this event was a complete fucking catastrophe. And is this finally the time Austin has to own up to his bullshit? Social Gloves is dead, so everyone grab your shovels because it's time to bury it. Breakdown, let's go. By the way, shout out to the Happy Hour podcast, my boy Jack May, everybody else is over there. They got Gib's manager in a full-length interview. Let's take a look.
So Gib at Social Gloves.
Yeah.
He fought, was it Vinny? No,
Taylor Holder.
Taylor Holder.
Yeah.
And absolutely wiped the floor with him.
Brilliant.
I think that's
Oh.
clear to see.
Yeah.
Say that shit again one more time, Jack. So look, I don't think the people fucking heard you.
Taylor Holder.
Taylor Holder. And absolutely wiped the floor with him.
Brilliant.
Listen, Taylor Holder is not a bad boxer, okay? I've told you guys this since I saw him box. He's not bad. And yes, he fought in front of what Social Gloves said was 20,000 people. Looked like 250 people, but we known Social Gloves to lie before, so who knows? But the excuses have to stop. This man got ran over like a loose train spike with the locomotive coming down the track. Gib absolutely dominated Taylor the entirety of the fight. No, he didn't knock him out, but he hit him with clean punches every single round, pressure on him every single round, and Taylor just kind of took it. No more excuses. On that night, Taylor lost.
Even watching that, I was like, well, Gibbs fucking annihilated him.
Yeah, you did.
And then they read the scores out, and it was a draw.
Yeah. So everyone initially thought, oh, it's in America, it's been rigged. You know,
Yeah.
Taylor Holder's this potential golden boy for future fights. He was the supposed slickest, best boxer on the card. Maybe he's got a future. None of that. Social Gloves were too disorganized.
Gib's manager right here is 100% fucking correct. The funny thing is, this one isn't even on Social Gloves. They're so disorganized, they don't know their head from their ass, who's getting paid, who's wearing headgear, what weight classes are we in, how many rounds. None of that was understood by them. The commission themselves fucked this one up, but in turn, looking into this, started to open up the little holes in Social Gloves and what was really happening behind the scenes. That's the funniest part.
Just trying to manage the teams from that fight week, that was a nightmare.
I bet.
So, but I knew it wasn't a fake, just from my interactions and knowing who was involved there. It wasn't in their psyche to do it. In my mind, I already knew there wasn't going to be another Social Gloves because of the financial problems they were having.
Uh-oh. What was that?
In my mind, I already knew there wasn't going to be another Social Gloves because of the financial problems.
Red fucking flag. Before the fight even fucking starts, we have a magic show going on in front of our eyes where Austin just promises money to this fighter, promises money to this entertainer or musician or whoever the fuck, and then goes, hey guys, watch me make it all disappear. It just shows that Austin was either completely oblivious to his influence and just throwing and promising money left and right was not going to be the way to get people to come in and watch your product, or Austin is a complete habitual liar and will do it directly to your face and not give a single fuck when he can't own up to not only his promises, but his written guarantees.
The scores were read out as, what were they, 49-46, 49-46, and 50-46.
Yeah.
And so I thought, no, Fuzi screwed this up. He's just read it out wrong. And then he was adamant he read it. And he told everyone, I read it. It says it there.
Who are you trying to call in them moments? It must be quite like...
The producers, LiveX Live, the anybody who's had the accountants, legals, anyone who had any contact with at all.
Look at how hard this guy rode for his dudes. Yes, it's his job. He's supposed to do that. He only gets paid if they get paid. This guy goes beyond. He is calling accountants. He is calling assistants. He's calling the fucking ticket sales office from Hard Rock Stadium. He's doing whatever he can. Question is, how many of the other talent managers did their job?
So then what happened is I was trying to get hold of people, and I got an email the next day, or the day two later, from a journalist, Daily Mirror journalist, asking for my opinion on it. And I was about to give my opinion. He says, oh, by the way, we've got in touch with the boxing commission, which was ISKA. He said, because it's an amateur exhibition fight, we had to announce both of them as winners.
What? There were fucking judges there. They read off a score. Other fights got judged. Oh, fucking hell, dude.
He blamed Social Gloves because he was so busy clearing up their crap.
Yeah.
That I just looked at it quickly and I misread it. I thought those were 46.
Oh,
so I
right.
guessed it. But he was good enough and honest enough to come out and say it.
A lot of the fighters, I don't think, got paid. I can't say for certain.
Same with this one.
I was going to say, isn't there a
Yeah,
court case, lawsuit with
yeah.
Austin McBroom at the moment?
So they paid these very small deposits, like 10, 20 grand
Yeah.
dollars to everybody.
Yeah.
And then they were going to get paid off the fight. I said, dude, you're not paying this out of pay-per-view when you're paying these millions in total to the purse. I don't think you're going to make that back.
Austin thought they were going to sell 2 million pay-per-views. That would be like the 4th or 5th biggest pay-per-view ever. Conor McGregor is the biggest draw in combat sports, who has built a career off drawing in combat sports. He's only ever done 2 million twice. One of them was with Floyd fucking Mayweather, and the other was one of the darkest rivalries in MMA history. What?
And they were like, oh, yeah, of course we will. We got this and we got this act. We got, all these different music acts. I can't remember who was on it.
Yeah.
And we've got this. It's going to be big and we've got this basketball player is going to be supporting and investing in it. It's going to be huge. I said, you got to pay us up front, mate.
Did you hear that?
No. It's like, it's going to be huge. Put your money where your mouth is.
Mm.
So we actually contracted escrow, where they have to put the money in at the beginning of fight week.
Yep.
Assuming all the promotion's been done up to that point and it's going ahead. They put the full purse into escrow at that point there, and it gets paid straight after the fight.
Oh, right.
As long as they walk out.
That is how you fucking do business. They just said, hey, pay us up front. If you think you're going to sell this amount of pay-per-views, this is how you call a bullshitter on their bullshit. It's not like these people have to answer to anyone and actually show proof of funds when they're going in and saying, we're going to pay this number and that number. And guys like Gib, and I think he's also the manager of Deji, already had their money in escrow ready to go. That's how a talent manager is supposed to work.
And then the next thing was there was discrepancy on, they hadn't even thought about the weight classes. The commission had said, well, you've got to be within 10 pounds. I couldn't even find out what Taylor Holder's weight was until he went off on them like a week before saying, oh, I've lost 10 pounds. I'm like, well, when you signed the deal, you were 175 pounds. I said to Social Gloves, tell him to stay there.
Right.
Gibbs coming down to 185.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't let him. 2 weeks before the fight, I'm at 165. No one told me. I'm like, you are kidding. These.
I never understood this about the Taylor and Gib fight. When Taylor said going into the fight, he was 175 pounds, right? He said this. This came out. I'm 175 pounds. Apparently, it was written into the contract that they were to be 10 pounds apart at the most. And that's not unusual for amateur boxing. If you guys think that's, well, they're not in the same weight class, you'd be right in a professional setting, but that's not what this event was. Taylor goes in and loses weight. That's not Gibbs' problem. They fight at the agreed upon weight or between the agreed upon weights. That was something I never understood about the Taylor argument. Oh, he was so much bigger than me. I was 20 pounds less. I was 165. That's on Taylor. I understand it was tough to find him a fight, but when you sign that dotted line, it's not the other person's fault that you lost a ton of weight. It's just not.
So they agreed to do it. They agreed to pay it. But when it came to paying it, escrow turns up like, okay, so we've set the escrow up, have we? Oh, yeah, no, the escrow company let us down. Do you mind doing it? What do you mean, do you mind us doing it?
What?
We actually set one up fairly quickly, which takes weeks normally.
Yeah.
A bit of money as well. So there's your can't put it in. Didn't pay. Got to weigh-in day. Right. We've got a decision to make here, boys.
Yeah.
They paid.
Oh,
In full.
wow.
Whole lot. And we weren't going to weigh in.
So even when everything was done for Austin, for the entire Social Gloves team, they didn't lift a finger. They didn't set up the escrow. They didn't pay to set up the escrow. They still tried to weasel their way out of paying Gib and Deji ahead of time. Luckily, the power dynamic was a little bit in the favor of Gib, because if Gib doesn't fight on that card, and neither does Deji, I would say there goes a good portion of the people that you thought at least were going to be watching this. I don't think a lot of people cared that Taylor Holder was fighting as much as they cared that Gib was. I don't think a lot of people cared that Austin McBroom and Bryce Hall were fighting as much as they cared that Deji was. Like I said, man, thank God that Gib and Deji had this manager, man. Shout out to this dude, because without him and without their star power or drawing power or whatever they brought to the table, Austin would have fucking scammed them too.
In all intents and purposes, our guys were the only guys who got paid. No one else apparently asked for an escrow.
Listen to that shit, man. Unfucking believable.
No one else apparently asked for an escrow.
No one else even asked for escrow. No one asked to get paid ahead of time. We know that Michael Gruen tried to save Bryce Hall. He tried. He said, I'm trying to get you guaranteed money because I don't think you're going to sell the amount that you think you're going to, or that Social Gloves thinks you're going to. And I hate it for the guys that fought, because they're so young. They had no idea about this business. No, none of them. They never have been in this business. They didn't understand how it worked, and it was the responsibility of the people they'd put around them to protect them. Austin McBroom's arrogance overpromised and overinflated his pay-per-view, this massive event that he had, and when it came crashing down, he was nowhere to be found. The red flags were there, and for whatever reason, these fighters' talent managers didn't see him or just ran right through him. Thank God for Gib and Deji's talent manager. They are the only two to escape with money, and that's how they did it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What happens next for Austin? Is he still going to go fight KSI? Is KSI willing to do business with this fucking guy? What happens to the other fighters? Are they going to get their money? I'm going to go ahead and make a bold prediction here and say they'll get some money in settlements, but it will be nowhere close to their guarantee. And this is just going to have to be a lesson learned for everyone. But like I said, Austin McBroom, he tried to scam Gib and Deji like he scammed everyone else, and because of it, opened the door for us to see exactly how bad Social Gloves was run, how it completely destroyed this event. Everyone's going into debt, and again, like I said, handed us all a shovel so we can bury this thing once and for all. Social Gloves is done, but the question still remains, is Austin McBroom or will KSI save him? I don't have the answers, but I guess we'll find out.